What on earth is going on with positions and modes? What are they and what is the difference? I'm Liam Ward at LearnTheHarmonica.com, and today I'm going to help to demystify positions and modes for you. Now, I have a full course all about positions and modes, and you can go and join my school and get a free trial of it today. There's a link in the description. But in this video, I'm going to give you the basics of positions and modes, what they are and what the difference is. First things first, let's start with a thought experiment. Now imagine you buy a harmonica and it doesn't tell you what key the instrument is in. It doesn't say a little letter on the end or on the top. It's not telling you anything. Now, quickly you'd find a certain scale in there. So this is labelled C. I'd pretty quickly find that C major scale. But I might also be able to find other scales, especially if I start to explore the full range of the instrument and then maybe I start doing some extra things like bending. I might find, for example, the A minor scale. Or I might start to find some more interesting things like the G blues scale. Or the G major pentatonic. And this could go on and on and on and on and on, because in theory you could find any scale in here. Okay, so what the hell does this have to do with positions or modes? Well, the thing is that outside of our thought experiment, the harmonica will be labelled a certain key. This is labelled C because it's intended, the intention of the maker, the producer, is that it was to be played in the key of C. But specifically that means C major. Now Hohner, who make this instrument, know that it won't just be played in C major, but the notes are easy to find and it's really easy to play in C major on this. So we've now got two things to consider: the intended key or scale of the instrument and then the chosen key or scale that you're going to play. So we've got these two things and they might be at odds with each other, they might be in contrast to each other. So when we're talking about these things, it can be useful to have terms to talk about this relationship between those two things. And that's what positions are all about. For example, if I take my C harmonica, but I play the G blues scale, how can I describe that to someone other than being very specific, G blues scale on a C harmonica? Well, there's actually a formal relationship underneath that we can start to label. In this case, we'd call it second position. Now this is to do with the tonal center you are choosing. I cannot stress enough how important this is with positions. Remember that this harmonica was intended to be played in C, built to be played in C. Therefore, the tonal center of the instrument was supposed to be C. So our one blow is a C. That's our tonal center, unless we choose to change that tonal center by playing a different scale, choosing different notes. My tonal center, if I'm playing the G blues scale, is the 2-draw. So we can call that second position. The theory behind the choice of the names is to do with the circle of fifths. I've got a video on that, I'll put it in the description. But that's the important thing to remember with positions. You've got a new tonal center on the instrument. Now if we were playing another instrument like a guitar or piano, there'd be no controversy or confusion over this because you just say, I'm playing in G. So what if I take my A harmonica and play from the 2-draw? I'm doing the same thing on the A as I was doing on the C harp. I'm starting from the 2-draw, building a scale from there. So the formal structure underneath what I'm doing is the same, even though the harmonicas are tuned higher or lower. So we can say that I'm playing in second position on both of those harmonicas. And you could pick 12 different keys of harmonica, start from that 2 draw, and we'll call that second position. It's just a name, a title, a formal way of talking about what we're doing. Otherwise, I'd have to say, on my C I'm playing in G, on my A I'm playing in E, on my D I'm playing in A, on my B flat I'm playing in F. They're all describing the same thing. So it's just a useful way of saying the tonal center of the music I'm playing lies at this point on the instrument. So now let's get on to modes. Now, if you're coming from another instrument, guitar, piano, whatever, sometimes modes and positions can be confusing for you, because if you hear me talking about positions, it can remind you of using modes on another instrument. Because you're thinking, oh, if I go from C, but instead of starting on the C note, I start on the G, that's Mixolydian mode. So Mixolydian mode is where we take that C major scale, but we use all the same notes, but we don't start on the C, we start on the G. Suddenly, the intervals between those notes change, and we've got a different sounding scale, the Mixolydian mode. To build a mode, you can pick any degree of the scale, start on that note, and you get a new scale or new mode. Now, the reason it's important to distinguish a difference between modes and positions is that, in theory, you could play any scale or mode in any position. So remember that I talked about playing the G blues scale. And I said that was second position. Now, I could choose to play from that same starting point the G major scale, the G minor scale, pentatonic scales. I could play the Mixolydian mode starting from that point. But that would be a choice. So you can see that they're not the same thing. Remember that I said the position tells you the tonal center. It doesn't tell you all of the notes of the scale. It doesn't tell you what scale you have to play. It just tells you, in this case, 2 draw is my tonal center. The other thing that I should mention is I'm saying 2 draw, but you don't have to start on the 2 draw, you don't have to finish on the 2 draw. There are other G notes across the instrument, a 6 blow and a 9 blow, and even then, you don't have to start by playing those notes. The point is that is the tonal center. It's where the music feels most resolved, safest, and coziest. So what are the things to take out of this at the end of it all? The important thing, as I mentioned, is that there's a difference between positions and modes. Modes are simply a specific, kind of quirky and really cool type of scale. And remember that in any position you can play any scale you want to, if you're good enough, if you've got the ability. The position does not determine the mode. It's really important to remember that because there's a lot of confusion around this and I come across it a lot with students. If you would like to learn more about positions and modes, playing various positions and various modes, then check out my course. There's a link in the description where you can get a free trial of my school. I hope this has helped. Let me know in the comments any more questions you have or anything that's helped you to understand positions or modes. I'll see you again soon. Until I do, cheers.